Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Well, here we are, 1-4. The Browns are 1-4. It's week 5, and yes, the season is over. Like I said, I'm a realist. I saw things yesterday that not even the 1-31 team were doing. When you can't get the right number of players on the field, not once, but several times, that's a sign of a complete hot mess. And by the way, the video circulating around showing Deshaun Watson just turning around and walking towards the sideline, there were 12 men on the field. It was fourth down. They had just called a timeout. He couldn't call another timeout because that you can't do that. So you could see Amari Cooper in the video counting the players. There were 12 men on the field. So stop with this bull crap that Deshaun Watson gave up on Kevin Stefanski. I tell you, man, you clickbait artists really irritate me. You put out false crap just to justify your opinion, and it just irks me. I deal in reality and fact. Yes, this team is terrible. Is it all Deshaun Watson's fault? No, it's not all Deshaun Watson's fault. They can't block. They can't tackle. Did you see some of the missed tackles by this defense? Who are these guys? What did you do with my Cleveland Browns defense? Who took it? Somebody stole them and has them in a hostage situation someplace. Where's my vaunted offensive line? They can't even pick up a simple stunt. And don't say, oh, well, if Bill Callahan was here, I hate to tell you this, go back and watch the games last year. They couldn't pick up a stunt then either. So this is a major problem for this team, and it starts with the coaching. Now, a lot of people are calling, and I am included in that, for Kevin Stefanski to let Ken Dorsey call Ken Dorsey's offense. I'm all for that. I hope he does it. He's not going to bench Deshaun Watson. And by the way, that's his call and his call only for all you Kevin Stefanski haters and Jimmy Haslam haters and Andrew Berry haters. It's his call. And he will tell the front office ahead of time, hey, and he'll tell Deshaun Watson ahead of time. But if you want to go and watch Jameis Winston get sacked 7 times a game and throw interceptions, fine. I don't know who you're going to throw the blame on then. It would probably be Kevin Stefanski's fault or Andrew Berry's fault. Look, I know 95% of the people on social media feel that they have to be right about everything, but they don't want to look at what's wrong with this team. This team has no healthy offensive line. I'm sorry. No, they probably lost Posick again. Jed Wills has got a knee problem again. They signed Adeniji, who got hurt in training camp. Adeniji was going to take James Hudson's place. I feel confident about that. Adeniji is far better than Jerron Christian or Leroy Watson, the tackles from last year. And he is far better than James Hudson. Is he the second coming of Joe Thomas? No. You don't need your backups to be the second coming of Joe Thomas. You just need them to be competent. He was competent. I have preached for 2 years to get rid of James Hudson. That's on Andrew Berry. But he tried. He signed 2 veteran tackles. And I guarantee you, I know Andrew Berry fairly well through some of the articles I've written about him. The reason he did that was to let James Hudson walk and possibly stick him on the practice squad in case he needed him. Severe emergency, break glass while the building is burning down type emergency. So, all right, let's just deal with what's here. Kevin Stefanski is not going to get fired. Andrew Berry is not going to get fired. The Deshaun Watson experiment, I'd like to see how it would work with a healthy offensive line. Okay? Yes, he made mistakes. He had overthrows. He had underthrows. He missed receivers. Was it his fault that Jerry Jeudy dropped a touchdown pass when this game was totally already out of hand? No, it wasn't his fault. He did have some good moments. That's the problem. Everybody's expectations are off the charts. And when you come out of training camp with this many injuries, you can't expect this team to even function. It's just ridiculous. But let's look at a positive. All right. We can assess some young players now. I know that Kevin Stefanski's stubborn about his quarterback because he kept Baker Mayfield in there for a while. But I have the feeling that he's going to, at one point, going to have to bench Watson. Let's take a break. I was just talking about how Stefanski is probably going to have to bench Watson. I can't see him sticking with him. Okay, I just can't. And I'm sorry, Jameis Winston is a great backup quarterback, but he's like Jacoby Brissett. He might win you one, lose you two or three. That's just what backup quarterbacks do. So what's to look forward to the rest of this season? Well, if Stefanski would finally get off his high horse and let Ken Dorsey call his offense, even with injured players, I'd like to see it. I know there's supposed to be a lot of motion in it, but when your tackles suck, you can't really have a lot of motion. So, you'd like to see some more play action, but when the middle of your offensive line sucks, you can't really do play action because you can't run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, you can't do play action. It's a snowballing effect. I knew this game was over, and I can't remember who the special teams player was when he hit the damn Commanders player who caught the punt and had a fair catch, and he ran right into him. What the hell kind of stupid ass mistake is that? Are you running with your eyes closed? That would explain a lot. But that was it. That was stupid penalty number one of many stupid penalties. This team just needs to look, they're not going to make the playoffs. I doubt they're going to have a winning record. Right now, their draft position in the first round is pick number 4. Cincinnati is picking 2 at this point. But as a team with the same record, they look a lot more inspired than this team does. And no, they're not going to get Joe Flacco back. Baker Mayfield isn't walking back through the door. Baker Mayfield wore out his welcome here with some fans and some players, not just OBJ. He lost the locker room. Then he wasn't welcome in Carolina. Then he wasn't welcome in Los Angeles. Everybody keeps to forget about Carolina and Los Angeles. They didn't try to re-sign him. So he goes down to Tampa, and now he's got stability. He's grown up. He studies. He watches tape. He looks at things. Okay, great. Congratulations. Thank you, Baker, for finally growing up. Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's not here because he had a 14% turnover rate. I'm sorry. Joe Flacco is that's him. Yeah, he looks great with the Colts. Let's see him for the entire season, okay? He's only played 2 games. So let's see him for the rest of the season. I have a feeling he'll start throwing pick 6, and then the shine will come off Joe Flacco. But no, they weren't going to bring him back. Why would they bring him back? So what's going to happen next? Like I said, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are safe. The process in Cleveland is what it is. It's not the greatest thing in the world right now, and it's being its soul is being bared because of bad injuries at at key positions. Can they turn this around and win some games? It's possible, but they got to quit making stupid mistakes. And the coaching staff has to take a look at itself in the mirror. Can more than one assistant coach be fired? Yeah. Andy Dickerson right now is not doing the greatest job in the world. But it all starts with Ken Dorsey's offense. Give him a shot. Let him call plays, and if they still suck, then you got a reason to fire him. Okay? And Kevin Stefanski, quit being so stubborn. Yeah, we all know in your press conference it's your fault. Fine. If you want to take the blame, maybe it's time to throw a player under the bus. It worked for the Raiders before they played the Browns. They played more inspired without two key players. They played more inspired than the Browns did that game because their coach challenged them. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski says behind the scenes. I don't know if he calls out players behind the scenes. We'll never know that. But maybe, just maybe, he should seem a little pissed when he does his news conference. They already tried the players only meeting after the Raiders lost. Didn't work. Now, locker room. Have the players, has he lost the players? Has Deshaun Watson lost the players? No, they have not. They still think they can turn this around. Will it become a point where Kevin Stefanski starts to lose the locker room? I don't think so. These guys like him. They know him. They trust him. That's a hard thing. As for the Watson thing, I don't know, man. There may come a point where the locker room finally has a little bit of a revolt and say, look, season is lost. Let's, I wouldn't even start Winston. DTR possibly, but I hate to get the rookie killed behind that sieve and offensive line. Oh, and if you think this is all going to get better when Nick Chubb comes back, I wouldn't bring Nick Chubb back behind this offensive line. I heard that they're waiting for a home game and offensive line stability. Do you see offensive line stability? And where the hell was Michael Dunn? I mean, I like Zach Zinter as a draft pick, but he shouldn't be playing right now. Michael Dunn should be playing right now. He's a better option at guard. He probably will be in because if Posic's injury is bad and he's gone for the season, you got Nick Harris and then you got Michael Dunn as the backup. This team has become a total hot mess. On Saturday, I watched my alma mater, Vanderbilt, beat the number one team in the country. The first time they've beaten a top 5 team ever. They were 0-60 against top 5 teams. And they showed more effort. They showed more physicality, concentration, whatever you want to call it. They came out and smacked Alabama in the face. I want to see the Cleveland Browns team come out and smack another team in the face. Yet to see it. No heart, no effort, no execution, none. So, that's it for my rant today. I'm going to try and have a good rest of the day as I worry about my in-laws down in Tampa, Florida, who now have a Category 4 hurricane barreling down on them. So I've got to get back to reality. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. This has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sport Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill, and all I got to say is go Browns. I'm not going to quit watching. I watch the Browns no matter what the record is. And we here at the Fanatical Elves Network understand your frustration with this team. We all feel like we were sold a bill of goods, which whose fault is that? I blame myself for believing the expectations. I know better. I've seen this too many times, so I know better. So everybody have a great day. And like I always say, we're just fans like you. We're frustrated like you. We're angry like you. But, like I said earlier, Browns fans love the Browns. They just don't like this team. And frankly, I don't blame them. I don't like this team either. So everybody have a great day and go Browns.